Hello, today I'll be demonstrating the data backup and recovery nice web portal challenge. And for this challenge, we will need to back up the MySQL WordPress database from the Windows database server. From there, we will need to migrate this WordPress database into the Debian backup server. And from the Debian backup server, we will need to restore this database into a new database called WordPress test. And during all these actions, we will need to make sure that the database is not compromised in its integrity. So to start this off, we will need to back up the WordPress database from the Windows database server, and that would be from here. And another thing is we're given credentials for the user and password for all the machines are player1 and password123. MySQL login is we're given root access with no password required. And we're also given firewall credentials, but we don't really need this for this specific challenge. So we will need to click Control Alt Delete. Login as player1, and as mentioned before, the password would be password123. Okay, now that we are in, we want to open the command prompt. So the first thing we would need to do is locate our WordPress database, and we would do that by opening MySQL with root access. Remember that we weren't given a password, which means we don't need to do -p and whatever the password is. So this should work. And we need to show databases. And from here we see the WordPress database right here. And so we are at the right location. Given that, we exit out of this and we would do a Mysql dump of this database. We have to give the name, which is WordPress, and I'm going to do result file equals word. I'm going to name this word dump. You can name it whatever you want. And this should work. And we see that word dump.sql has been created right here. So we have successfully created the word dump, and now we just need to migrate this dump into the Linux server. And we will do that with scp WordPress, and the user would be player1 we could go back and find that the server is 172.16.30.79. 172.16.30.79. And that, and we also need to specify location, so I'm going to do it at the beginning. Password 123. Okay, so it has successfully transferred, and that should be all that we would need to do on this server. So we will go to our Linux server. The Linux would be the backup. The backup login would be player1 with password of password123. So we do ls to check, and we see word dump.sql is here, which means we've done it successfully. And now we just need to create a database. The database has to be named WordPress test, and we just need to make sure that it's successfully open from there. So first, let's open MySQL. Access denied. That means we need sudo. So here we do show databases again. Okay, so we see 4 databases. After adding, we should see 5. We create database. It's called WordPress test. and we check by do show databases again. Yep, we create a WordPress test, which is the last row, and we can exit out of here to move the word dump into this database. So from the word dump, we do sudo mysql root password, we leave blank, and we just use the name. We want to move the word dump.sql, and this should import the SQL dump into our WordPress test database. The password is password123. Okay, and now we will need to check that we will need to enter MySQL again to check whether this has been successfully migrated. So we do root sudo show databases. And before, we don't have any tables in the database, so we could do show tables. Oh, first we need to confirm which database we're using, so we use WordPress test, and now we do show tables. Okay, and now we see that the data has been populated with different things such as users, user meta, comments, etc. So this should be a correct migration, and we could check a web portal for the integrity, and we see that we have green status for all of them, which means we have successfully completed this challenge. That'll be all, and thank you for watching.